The voodoo priestess looked surprised. She demanded,
Take off your shirt and show me your tattoos.
as her eyes scanned the drawings on his skin. Her face went pale. She explained seriously.
That man you saw wasn't an angel. It was a demon trapped on the other side for thousands of years. When you almost died, it clung to your energy. Every time you used your power to summon him, you made him stronger. These tattoos are actually binding spells. If you had done the full moon ritual, you could have taken control of your body.
Daniel shivered and tears welled up in his eyes.
He lied to me. He said it was helping me get what I wanted.
The voodoo priestess sighed.
Demons are tricky, but they are also very proud. We can use that to our advantage. Challenge the demon for a game, your share of winning. If you win, you're free. If he wins, you become his prize.
But how can I possibly beat a demon in a game? Especially one who has been controlling me all this time.
Don't forget you have a special gift, Daniel. Your God's given talent is singing. That will be your weapon.
Daniel never met his father, but his mom worked very hard to make sure he always had food, clothes, and a place to sleep. They lived in a small apartment near a public school where Daniel went to study. Daniel loved to sing. His mother wanted him to become a doctor, but music was all Daniel ever cared about. He even missed school sometimes to go to a music festival, and eventually he stopped going to school altogether. One day Daniel was on his way to record some music when a group of bullies stopped him. He told them he had no money, but they beat him up and stole his clothes, leaving him only in his underwear. He was hot and scared, laying on the ground when a man came up to him.
Things are tough right now. But what if I told you there was a way to become rich and famous? If you want this, prick your thumb with a needle and write yes tries on a white piece of paper. Put the paper under your pillow before you sleep, and I will appear.
Dana's vision was blurry, and he couldn't understand why the strange man was smiling. Before he could ask, the man vanished. In the distance, Dana heard his neighbor shouting his name. He was too weak to get up, and the intense pain made him close his eyes. When Dana opened his eyes again, he was back in a small apartment. His mother sat next to him, worried about him. Dana mumbled something, but his mother quickly shushed him.
Oh, thank God you're awake. Rest and save your energy. Let me get you some food. You must be hungry.
She hurried outside and came back with a flask of food. His mother then made him promise to go back to school and take a break from his music for a while. However, everything changed again a few months later when his mother got sick. At first, his mother tried to brush it off, saying it's just stress. But one day, she could barely walk, kept throwing up, and her feet were swollen. Dana insisted that she go to the hospital. At the hospital, the doctor said she needed to stay and have many tests done. 4 days later, they told Daniel his mother had kidney failure and urgently needed a new kidney. Daniel went home and looked around their small one-bedroom apartment. He thought out loud.
Ayemi, how can I possibly get 15 million naira for surgery and 500,000 naira for dialysis in just 3 days?
He felt tears welling up in his eyes and collapsed onto the only couch in the room. Suddenly, he heard a strange man's voice again in his head.
How would you like to be rich and famous?
Daniel thought he was imagining the voice because he was so upset. He tried to ignore it, but the voice kept talking and seemed more real each time. To prove to himself it wasn't real, Dana decided to take the risk. He pricked his finger with a needle, wrote yes on a white sheet of paper, and placed it under his pillow. He fell asleep instantly and found himself in a cave.
Good to see you, Daniel. It seems your wish has brought you here.
The voice boomed. Daniel looked around confused. He couldn't see who was speaking, but then, in his surprise, a man walked out of solid rock.
How did you do that? I know something urgent brought you here. Let's talk about that first. Are you ready to become incredibly famous and rich? Yes, please, sir. I need money desperately. My mother is very sick in the hospital and needs surgery. If you truly want wealth and fame, go to the tattoo parlor and get a tattoo of a bleeding heart on your left chest. Then after the tattoo, visit a recording studio. The tattoo will be like a magical force that helps you become a star.
Dana wasn't sure about this idea. He frowned and said,
I can't afford a recording studio or a tattoo artist. There is no way I can make this work. That's the easiest part. Go to a new tattoo shop and offer to let them tattoo you for free. They'll be happy to do it as a way to show off their skills. After you're done with the tattoo process, walk into any recording studio and sing. In the act of recording your song, the opportunity for growth will come to you.
Daniel awakened from the dream and did exactly what he was instructed. The stranger was right. The tattoo shop really did offer a free tattoo in exchange for advertising them online. Next, Daniel went to the recording studio. Everyone there was amazed by his singing and songwriting. The studio manager even came up to him and offered him a huge contract to join his music company. Daniel was so excited, he couldn't believe it was real. But then, he remembered his mom was in the hospital. He felt sad again. Daniel talked to his new manager about his mom. The manager was very kind and offered to help pay off her medical bills. Some time passed, and Daniel's song became #1 on all the music lists. He got invited to perform at shows, concerts, and interviews. Soon, he was a huge star, with his face on billboards and commercials for famous brands. Daniel's manager thought it was time to release a full album with 14 songs, but Daniel wasn't sure, so he decided to meet with the mysterious man again.
Hey Daniel, it's been a while. How are you liking being a star? It's great, but there's something new. I need to release an album with 14 songs soon, and I need your help to make them successful. It's smart to ask for my help before you start. Before you release each song, come back here to get a special tattoo image. These tattoos will keep you on top. So for your new music, your next tattoo is an image of an eagle standing on a cloud. This means that even when others get wet from the rain, you will be above the clouds enjoying the sunshine. Who are you and why are you helping me? Think of me as a guide, someone who helps you reach your goals.
Daniel woke up. From then on, Daniel followed the agreement. Every time he was about to release a new song, he would see the strange man again in his dreams. Soon, Daniel's body became a canvas of tattoos. He had a skull growing from roses on his arm, a burning flame on his back, phases of the moon on another arm, a dragon, a goat head, ancient symbols, tiny wings, a lion's head, and a rising star added to his existing bleeding heart tattoo. With each new tattoo, his fame grew. He became a huge star, making other artists jealous. But after releasing his 10th song, Daniel had a strange dream. He saw all his tattoos frozen and lifeless in the dream. Daniel's 12th song was a huge hit, but it came with a strange side effect. In his dreams this time, the tattoos came alive and chased him. This nightmare became so real and scary that Daniel finally decided to talk to the mysterious man about it.
Those are just growing pains on the road to fame. But if they are bothering you too much, get a pentacle tattoo in the center of your chest. That should calm the wild tattoo in your dreams.
Ned did what the strange man suggested, and for 10 whole nights, he finally slept peacefully. But on the 11th night, his dreams returned, and his tattoos seemed to be more threatening. Even though his new album was a massive success, Daniel wasn't happy. He felt overwhelmed by the pressure and constant media attention. He started using drugs to try to feel better, but that only made things worse. The media were filled with stories about Daniel's drug use and how bad he looked. This negativity made him even more depressed and anxious. Finally, Daniel couldn't take it anymore. He decided to summon the strange man again.
If the pentacle tattoo didn't work, we need a stronger spell to control them. On the night of the full moon, draw a 5-pointed star on the floor, stand in the middle of the star, and repeat the summoning spell again. That should fix things.
Daniel wasn't happy about his new spell. He begged the man.
I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. I have all this money, but I look awful. I'm so tired. I can't sleep. It's too late to quit now. If you do, your mother will die and you will lose all the money and fame. You will be a poor, hungry beggar on the street. Think about it, Daniel. Are you sure this is what you want?
Tears welled up in his eyes as he imagined life without money, fame, and his mother.
Please, no. No. Good. The full moon is in 10 days. Make sure you perform the ritual.
The strange man said, and then vanished in a puff of dark smoke. In the distance, a giant's bloody heart pulsed in the air, raining down blood that quickly formed the growing pool. The blood rushed towards Daniel. Behind him, a loud eagle screech made his heart pound. He turned to flee, but his feet sank into quicksand. The more he struggled, the deeper he became trapped. The eagle swooped down, snatched him from the sand, and tossed him into the bloodbath. Daniel fought to stay above the surface, but it was no use. He woke up in a cold sweat. He reached out for his bag of stimulant. but it was empty. Grabbing his phone, he dialed his dealer's number. Apex rushed over as soon as Daniel called. He knew he could make at least $3,000, but this time something was different. Daniel looked pale and seemed to be ordering an unusual large quantity. Concerned, Apex asked,
Hey Dan, is everything okay? Is there anything else you need? Remember, we've been friends since before you were famous. You've always been good to me and my family, and I can help you with anything, even if it's something spiritual. I heard it's not easy being a celebrity, but there is always a solution to any problem.
Daniel zoned out for a moment, remembering how close he and Apex were as kids. Apex was the only friend who stayed by his side after he became famous. He finally breaks.
I need strong spiritual help. Can you connect me with one of your religious contacts? Sure thing. I will send you a phone number of a priestess in the morning when you are feeling better. If you want, I can even take you there myself first thing tomorrow.
Daniel returned from seeing the voodoo priestess. He decided to call on the demon and challenge him to a game. He said,
Whoever can sing a song that makes people feel compassion will win, my buddy. Your songs are only about dancing and don't have any deep meaning. How could you ever win against me? It's your own problem if you lose. By the way, the full moon ritual is happening in 3 days.
this instant, Daniel was confused as he tried to control his body, but he couldn't. Instead, he felt a strange pull towards the strange man, who had a dark, smoky glow around him. The strange man looked straight at Daniel and spoke.
I can take over your body with or without your consent, but I enjoy a good challenge. I accept your game. You have 48 hours to write and release a song, and I will too. The time starts now.
Daniel woke up in a panic, sweating heavily. He grabbed his phone and urgently called his manager, insisting that he had an extra song, a bonus track to add to his album. After recording the new song, Daniel waited nervously for it to be success. But unfortunately, the opposite happened. His loyal fans reacted very negatively and criticized the song. He looked at the clock and saw that he only had 10 hours left. Suddenly, a new song called Your Body Is Mine shot to the top of the music charts, replacing the song. The Body Is Mine song was loud and everywhere, and Daniel's heart pounded with fear. He felt hopeless, but decided to spend the last bit of time he might have with his mom. His mom hugged him tightly when he arrived and quickly made him food. Daniel couldn't eat. He was speechless, knowing his life might be ending soon. His mom saw his worry and said,
Don't listen to what the media says. They just want your attention. Remember when we barely had enough food to eat? I felt like a terrible mother for not being able to give you more. But you were always happy and went to school with a smile, as long as you had your little radio, even though you weren't attending classes. But whenever you sang in your room, your voice filled my heart with joy. But I worried that music wouldn't give you a good life. Our house holds so many memories. I had to buy it back from the landlady to keep it. I'm proud of you for following your dreams, even though I tried to talk you out of it.
Suddenly an idea sparked in Daniel's mind. He whispered to his mom.
Let's visit our old house.
They arrived, and Daniel hurried to his childhood room. He grabbed his phone and started a live video stream. With tears in his eyes, he sang his heart out for an entire hour. The lyrics spoke of his simple beginnings, a close call with death, the dream that still scared him, and his journey to becoming a star. He finished by expressing his gratitude to his fan and family before ending the live stream. Exhausted, he fell asleep in his old bed. The strange man reappeared in his dream that night without the summoning ritual, but this time Daniel noticed something different. The man was chained at the hands and feet.
Why are you chained? I have always been chained. Your wishes blinded you to what was plain to see. You won. But if you ever need help with anything else, you know how to call me.
With that, the man vanished back into the cave. Daniel wakes up feeling much better. He doesn't feel so heavy or worried anymore. He walks to the mirror and looks at himself. His skin, which used to be pale, now looks healthy and rosy. His tattoo, a clear reminder of what he had been through. At this instant, his phone rang.
Your cover is torn.